Alrighty, so I was asked, based on my previous video that I did, asked on to do a tutorial on how I get the clean lines and designs that I do for the bodies. Biggest thing I can tell you on designs is just go by the body lines. Best reason why to go by the body lines is because whenever you draw the lines, it's really easy to follow a straight line when there's a mold piece there. So whenever I go to lay out the decals in this and masking this off, it's going to be very easy to just follow that line because it's just the natural curve of the body. I do stick with a particular paint scheme, of course. These are mine. The green and white is my scheme, which, if anyone's wondering, that is the Tamiya metallic green backed with spastic silver, and then I do the chrome. Is how I do all the chrome, of course. Spastic chrome, which is just beautiful, just perfect mirrors to it. I just absolutely love it. And then also the spastic solid white. Sometimes I tend to do the Tamiya one, but I'm trying to go back to spastic. They've had an issue with their nozzles of lately, but giving it a chance at it again because there is more paint in there than the Tamiya ones. But like with this body right here, you can see where the body lines are and how there's a mold right here. There's actually a mold piece right here, mold seam, and that's what created that V in it. And then from there, just of course follow the lines, and you can see where the other mold seam is. So what you're going to need to achieve that is all right here. It's not much. This is very, very helpful to get. I got mine off Wish.com, but you can just get it at any paint supply place or anything like that, or Hobby Lobby or anything like that. It's just vinyl pinstriping tape. It comes in different widths. This is the one that I use to cut with, so I'll lay that piece down, and I'll show you a little bit later on in the video of how I do that and why I use it, because it stretches and that's much smoother, and it has a really, really good seal to it. So it does not allow for many mess ups or anything like that, or bleeds to come through. But you can see, like with the Corvette here, that there's mold pieces, there's a mold seam all right through there, and that's just what creates the design. So like here's 3 touring cars, but all done differently because of their body lines. So there's with the zoo racing body, there's a mold piece right here. So I decided to fill that with chrome and then did that green. It just worked really well. The Turismo, which is a really good body for asphalt. Really nice, good front bite to it, and then this one, the Montec, I really, really like this one on carpet. It's my go-to body. I'm going to buy a bunch more of these because it's just hands down the smoothest thing I've found for me personally in my style of driving for 17.5 touring car. But yeah, so just all of these have raced in 17.5, but they all are painted differently, just the same scheme because of the body lines. That is how you achieve it. Here's my 12 scales here. Again, body lines, that's what defines how it's going to be painted. And if you fight against it, it's not going to turn out how you necessarily want it. Your lines are probably not going to be as clean as you would like them to be. And that's what you're trying to avoid, is you're trying to avoid messy lines. You're trying to make sure it's clean, smooth, and just looks professional is what you want. So I'm going to, in this video, I'm going to be showing you exactly how that is achieved with this stock buggy body that's going to go on my TLR. So I will continue on in just a sec. Alright, so back to this. First thing you're going to want to do is, of course, wash the body. If you do not wash the body, I promise you will not like the result. The paint's going to flake out. It's not going to set right. You're going to have weird splotches and stuff because whenever this is put down, there's a releasing agent that's put in it. So whenever they do the mold, it can release cleanly and not stick or anything like that. So you have to clean it out. How I do it, you just use regular Dawn soap. You can use as hot of water as you can, as your hands can stand. Don't worry about too much on that. So what I do is I wash it, and I wash it twice. So I make sure that it don't bother drying off the first time, but wash it and then wash it again, just to be sure and get you. I tend to use shop towels because they don't necessarily leave the the fibers behind, and they don't have anything on them. They're always clean, so you're not going to worry about any fibers in that way. And then I always keep mine in a bag until I'm ready to paint, with the towels in them, so that way to keep any moisture out, because I live in Florida and that's just how this life goes. So that's what we're gonna do. And this one, I don't actually have any, I didn't have the window decals. This is just a body that came with a kit that some that I bought, and I didn't feel like purchasing a new body, so I'm just gonna mask it off myself. With this one, there's gonna be no clear spots on it. It's all gonna be chromed out in the windows, and yeah, so the windows are all going to be chromed out. This is going to be green right here. That's going to be green, chrome back here. And of course you can just see where I've marked off exactly what's going to be what. This is going to be green. I'm really looking forward to see how that pops. I think it's going to look really cool. And then with the way that this body line goes, that's going to be a really cool spike. I think it's going to look really cool. I'm excited to do it. And happy to see how this video turns out. So whenever you do go to mask off, just know your last color that you're going to paint is the first thing you mask off. So the first thing that's going to get masked off here, and I'll jump to me having done that already, is going to be the chrome. So I'm going to be masking off all of the chrome pieces here, and on the windshield here, I'm going to be masking off all of that. The next thing I'm going to be doing is the decal. I'm going to be putting a CRRC right here. And I may go ahead and make a TLR logo as well and paint it in chrome just because I like it. I like the way that they pop off the white. So I'm probably going to do that. And yeah, so that's going to be how this one turns out. But always do your lightest color first when masking it off. So that's going to be masked off. And then with the way that I do my paint job, I can mask the white off first or the green off first. It doesn't matter. It's really whichever one's going to be harder or more material to mask off, that's the one that I paint first. So I'll mask off the white if the white is easier to mask off than the green. So it just depends on which one I want, because the green's so light it doesn't bleed through the white. And then when I do the green, I always back it with silver metallic, and that allows it to where the white doesn't bleed through. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'll get back to you after that's done, and then I'll show how to use this and why it's so helpful for these parts right here and why that's helpful. Alright, so I now have the windows and all the chrome masked out. I forgot to actually cut the vinyl, so that's what I just did over there. So I'm going to have to weed that out, and we'll jump back to with that already having been done. But with this one, I went on ahead and I actually just freehanded the windows, just because I want to show that it can be done without having to use the vinyl. But the lines I'll do with vinyl just to show you how that's done. Best way to ever cut straight lines or really nice good curves is that if the body's small like this, if you're doing a buggy body, which a lot of people are, just because off-road's just so huge, but if you're doing a buggy body or something small that you can really just kind of get in your hand really well, the best thing to do is to move the body, not your blade. So move the body, not the blade, and that'll get you that nice, good, even, round cut that you wanted, or a straight line. Straight lines I do tend to go down with the blade, and I just use my body to make it straight. Pin my elbow against my body, and then just cut down like that. It's kind of hard to explain or show, but we'll get back to it with the decals to be put in there. Alright, we are back with this. So the vinyl is now in there. Turned out really good. I think it's going to look really cool, all chromed out. Fun little tip though, by the way, for anyone that's doing this. Good thing to do is whenever you start masking off the excess, just put in a little ball right there, so whenever you do end up with a little piece or something, you can just, like on your blade or something like that, you can just tap it on there and it will stick to this. So it'll just come right off the blade or come right off your hand, and you can just real quick, and it just works really well. So just, little tip for anyone wanting to make sure they keep a clean station. that's a really good way. Alright, so now I'm going to show you as best I can from this angle of why I use this vinyl taping. So I'm actually going to end up masking off, I think the masking off the green may be best. Actually maybe doing the white may be a little bit easier to do. But anyway, I'll show you what it is that I do and why I do it. So what you do is you get this end right here. I think I'm going to tape off the white. So with that, I'm then just going to take this piece right here, nice little length like so, and then I'm going to put it right there on the line. The reason why I like it is because you can pinch down with this and bend it, and then just slide your hand just on down it, and it just produces a very clean single cut line like that I really like. And you'll see why this is a benefit later on. So then what I'll do, get my X-Acto right here, or because it's the white, I can actually just extend this on down to just prevent the cut lines that end up showing up inside the body after you're done. So I'm going to go ahead, and you see how that was bent right there. That's why I like to use it. So that's going to be a very smooth transition right there. I will go ahead and get the rest of this done, and then I'll show you why I use this to mask off, not just pinstripe. I'll show you that in just a sec. Alright, so I know it looks ugly, but that is why I like this stuff. So what it is now I have masked everything off, and I only had to just cut at the ends to end the piece in the white like I did there. So it just makes a really clean line. I'm going to be masking this off and then cutting that out with a knife, with a hobby knife. But it just makes a really clean line, and it bends, so you can just use one piece, and it's what makes my bodies that I paint up. It's what makes the line so clean, is that right there. And yeah, that one, I highly recommend getting this stuff. It is super helpful, and it just produces a really good product. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this masked off, and we'll be ready to start painting. Right, so now you're about to see the main reason, after I got it all masked up and everything, you're going to see the main reason why I love using this style of tape. Okay, so you can see in the body of how where the green's going to go, where I've masked off the white, the tape is in the way. So the reason why you first stencil it out with that tape, with the vinyl pinstriping tape, is what I'm about to show you once I change the angle. Alright, so reason why I like this is because instead of having those errors that you see whenever you cut it by hand, and you cut your line that you drew also by hand, which is not going to be a straight line, I now have the width of the tape here to be able to go off of to make sure that I get a clean cut. It's really hard for me to show it, but I have the ability to use the entire width of the tape, so any movement like this, you know, if I do make a mistake, it won't ever show up. Also, I just have to cut hard enough to get to the vinyl, which means I never score the body, which means that the body will not chip on me, or break in, split off or anything, which I have had happen before, where, you know, you cut a little too deep. One thing this vinyl does like to do, though, is it does like to pull up, so just keep an eye on that. You can get it back down, not too hard, and then it will pull up at some point if you just let it sit there, but just go ahead and get it painted and you're good to go. But I'm going to go ahead and get that all cut up, and you'll see how clean the line is. Alright, so you're going to see why I like the tape here. So instead of having to cut the exact line, the line has already been made by the tape, by the vinyl tape that I did. So all I have to do is just cut along that line there, and it will pull up perfect every time with no issue. So now that line that we originally made with the tape is still there, but now we've sealed off the rest of the body. That is why this stuff is so useful, and that is how I get the clean lines, and that is the only reason I get the clean lines, is because of that technique that I, necessarily figured out, but, sure others do it, but it's something that I learned on my own when I was painting bodies and was tired of the jagged lines or not getting lines straight, and I could just pull it up and try it again. I'm not stuck with it or wasting a bunch of masking tape, because I have only bought one roll and I've been painting bodies now for about 2 years on this. I have other thicknesses, but this is the one I use to do my masking because of how thick it is, so it leaves me the most room for error. So yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of this done, and then I'll get the green painted up, and I'll show you what that looks like after. Alright, so coated in there really well. I definitely do like that green up top. I know that's going to look really cool. The inside looks like that right now. I'm about to go get the chrome and then chrome it out, or not the chrome, but the silver metallic, and get that done so that way it's backed. And then from there I'll then peel up everything I got there except for the windows and of course the decals, and then we'll get that painted up as chrome as well. There we go. Alright, the silver metallic is now in there, which now you can see darkens that up and really makes that green pop, and once this mask comes off, once the film comes off, it's going to look really, really cool. That's what the inside now looks like. Gonna let this dry. Reasons why I do like the colors that I use, big reason is because it requires silver, and then the metallic paints, or just really metallic paints in general, are very light. And by light I mean like they're physically lighter than heavier paints like blacks and reds and stuff like that, and blues. Those are very dense paints, and if weight is a factor in your class or what you're racing, it does help out too. That's why I like to use a lot of chrome. I know I use a little bit more chrome than what people do like, but I like to use it just because it is so light. Silver is the lightest color there is. Chrome is even lighter than that because it's so thin. It does not take much to paint this. You can tell by how much is left in this can. That is about how much was to start with. It took like maybe 10 seconds to get that paint in there. It does not take much. Just keep your paint can moving. Don't let it beat up or roll. It will cause bleed spots, and it'll puddle up and just won't look good. Runs. That's the term. Runs. So you don't want to have that happen. So yeah. So now I think it should be dry, and we're gonna get this all peeled off. I'll get back with you after it's all peeled off, and then we'll go painting white. Alright, everything's been removed, and now you see why I use it. You can see how clean the lines are. Yeah, it looks like it bled through, but that's actually on the outside. I kind of panicked a little bit when I saw it too. But you can see how crisp and pointed those lines are because of that technique. And it's what makes, just a rattle can body different from a properly designed body. And so we're going to go ahead and put the white in here, and it's just going to pop. So we'll go ahead and do that now. Alright, we're back to it. It's all painted white. This is now what it looks like. I'm very happy with how this turned out. I'm about to get it taken apart, get all the chrome out, de-weed those. I'm probably going to take I don't know yet. I have to think about it, because I may just take all of that and make it chrome. Maybe I won't. I don't know yet, but that's the really cool thing about this style of the inlaid right there. You can decide whatever color you want to make it after the fact. It doesn't matter what you do. If you do want to paint it something different than chrome, you can still, because you already have put the white back there. By the way, if you do paint another color behind this while you've already painted white, paint the silver, the metallic silver on the back side, and back this white with the silver in your whatever color you use will not bleed through. So if you do use a different color, do that. I think I'm just going to chrome it all out because that's my style. It's easier and it just lets me remove it all, and I can all paint everything in one swoop. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm excited to get this one and see what it looks like with the mask, with all the film off and the chrome. This is going to look cool to me. I'm going to like that a lot. But yeah, so we'll get back to it. Alright, now everything has been removed. About to get chrome put in there, and I think it's going to look really, really cool. Just turned out really, really crisp lines. I'm telling you, if you do have a vinyl cutter, I highly recommend to do inlaid decals. It's so easy. You only have to use just one sheet, cut out what you want. You don't have to weed anything but the outside, and you don't have to push, put the proper colors in or anything like that. You just remove what you want to paint. I'd highly recommend inlaid decals, and anyone that wants them done, I can do those as well. So I'm going to go ahead and get this all painted chrome, and we'll be right back after that. And there it is. Now all chromed out. Turned out really, really good. Inside of it looks really cool too. Reason I do like the way chrome looks on the inside of a body, for me, just looks really nice. The windows turned out really cool. I love that. I don't know why, I just do. But something that a lot of people do, they will say to back it with black, but I don't like doing that. But if you don't back it and you just leave the chrome in there, it will rub off. The chrome will disappear. I think I have a body somewhere around here that has had that done. Yeah. This is because of where I picked the 12th scale up at. It rubbed off. That's where I learned this lesson from. So what I do is I just put Ultimate Clear Coat aerosol for Mirror Chrome. So it is designed to do this if you don't want to use black, which I don't like using black because it always darkens up the white, and I just don't like it. Doesn't let light through, because you can kind of see through that almost. I mean, this you can see through the chrome, and I just like that idea of it. And so yeah, so I'm going to clear coat it, and then we'll get the big reveal going. Alright, clear coat is in there. You can see why I like it. It leaves that chrome finish in there. Just looks nice. So I'll see if I can try to get this big reveal one-handed maybe. And by the way, the reason why I like this, you just put it there, doesn't go anywhere. There you go. That is it. Just a cool design. And you can even kind of see me in there. Hello. How are you? Yeah, that's why I like it. It just does really cool. It's very easy to do, and literally doing this video and everything only took me about an hour and a half. But that was with stopping to do explanations for everything, but normally this would maybe take me an hour. You can see a little bit of a bleed spot right there, but nothing some scissors can't do. And any little pieces that you do see like that right there, that's going to get a decal. That's going to get a decal, which means it's going to be a decal here and one here. I know I could put a Hobby Wing decal right there or something like that. Did not see that until later on. I'm not happy about that, but this is avoidable if you just take a little bit more time, which I wasn't doing, just so I could make the video in a quick amount of time because I got work in the morning and it's 5 till midnight. So yeah, I very much so like it. I mean, you can see, you know, it just looks nice. And yeah, there you go. So any questions, please feel free to ask me. I'll be happy to answer anything you got. Again, if you want any decals done, message me as well, and I can get them done and shipped off to you. Just trying to get the right system that I want to do if I want to open an account. I don't know yet. Just to make shipping a little bit easier to get it to you guys. And yeah, so that is the final product on this buggy body. It's going to look really cool. And yeah, I'm excited for it. Alright, thank you and have a good day.